Good morning, everyone. It's June 11th, 2020. I'm Eric. See the dude on your screen here? This guy. You remember this show, don't you? Yeah? What about this dude? This is what the American male has been reduced to. Buffoonish, idiotic, weak, spineless individuals. Remember how he was bossed around by his wife? This is why I chose this guy specifically. I don't know what he's like in real life, but, it just goes to show you that there are lots of men out there like this. This is what we've been reduced to. When we should be more like this guy. This is the mentality that American males need to have. Specifically, white males. Without guys like this individual, and I understand that it's a TV show, but the archetype, right? Without guys like this guy, our society and race is doomed into utter fucking misery. Don't be like Doug here, or Homer, or Peter Griffin. Be like Lothbrok here. But Eric, he was a cold-blooded killer. Maybe. Maybe he was. Here's the deal. Without these cold-blooded killers, as a lot of people would call him, we will be subjugated and purged, and anyone left will be straight slaves. Not the soft slavery that we're have been living for the past not that, but direct, hard slavery. Be more like him, and you won't have to worry about becoming a slave. I got some shit to talk about today. A lot of shit. So probably going to be a long video, but hey, if you don't stick with me, what can I tell you? So my drone finally came. This is what it looks like. It unfolds like so. I'm not giving a product review on it yet because I haven't learned how to fly it and operate it completely. I have found it somewhat difficult to operate. It's a pretty nifty little gadget if one can operate it well. And hopefully I get enough practice in to be able to do that. But somehow I don't think this is going to be the case. All right. So, start here maybe? Yeah, let's start here. Jonathan Latham, Bill Gates Foundation, working with DARPA on gene editing. Why is this motherfucker's name constantly being wrapped up in shit like this? I'm gonna hit the first couple paragraphs. We'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll move on. In an interview with James Corbett of the Corbett Report, Jonathan Latham discusses the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and their disturbing ties with the United States government. Who knew? DARPA, an agency of the Department of Defense, is working closely with the Gates Foundation to introduce genetically modified or genetic modifications into various species. And by the way, they're getting ready, if they haven't done so already, to release some genetically modified mosquitoes there in Florida and Texas. I wonder why they're doing that. I wonder what kind of germs these mosquitoes are going to be carrying. I wonder how many people are going to get sick. I wonder. Oh, and the United Nations is also involved. So we have, what was it? The Department of Defense, the Gates Foundation, and the United Nations working on this together. That does not sound very good, does it? Now, what could possibly go wrong, right? What could go wrong? You know, just like what could go wrong with, I don't know, Fukushima being put where it was. What could go wrong? Right? All wrapped up, it looks like everyone who wants power now has it, and nothing is being done to stop the destruction of humanity. So much for Enlil's promise. Oh, you don't know about that? Well, here's the thing. In your Bible, it talks about how God promises never to flood the planet again, right? Never to kill off humanity. Well, actually, that was part of the Sumerian tablets, and it was Enlil who said that they would never destroy humanity again because the gods needed us. But I don't think they need us anymore. The few are dominating the many, and most won't look past their own biases to see what's really going on. Just a note here. Gates Foundation hired a PR firm to manipulate UN over gene drives. The UN and DARPA want to manipulate human genes to get the desired outcome in a child. So, once again, this asshole right here, this asshole was found to be wrapped up in some shit that he shouldn't be wrapped up in. And for that matter, the government, DARPA, UN, they really shouldn't be wrapped up in human gene editing either. And this is why the best thing that can happen to us as a species is a long-term blackout, power outage. Seriously. So there's that. Tick-tock, computer. Tick-tock. Yeah. Got a couple from this one here. One way or another, these motherfuckers want to inject you with some bad stuff, we'll call it. Really bad. You know, the kind of things that alter your genes. The kind of things that, you know, make you maybe a little more docile and a little more easily managed as a human being. You know, maybe cut you, the body you, off from the soul you. What do you think? Okay. Gates and military funded. Gates and military. Again. Gates and military funded mosquito vaccine delivery, plus Gates-backed company to release genetically modified mosquitoes, just as I got through saying. Just in case 2020 wasn't crazy enough, the Environmental Protection Agency recently announced rolled back regulations for companies due to the coronavirus outbreak, paving the way for companies to skirt environmental laws and regulations during this crisis. Huh? What do you think? Controlled opposition protests. And that's exactly what these riots are. What these protests are. They are actually controlled opposition. How do we know this? Because mainstream media, along with politicians, are okay with it. Now, let's go back a couple of weeks when it was people demanding their freedom. There in Michigan, among other places. Well, it was dangerous, remember. Remember, they didn't give a shit about human life if they were out there. But somehow, some way, it's perfectly acceptable. That's how we, for these riots and protests to be going on. That's how we know it is controlled opposition. Again, we have a nation full of guys like this when we need a nation of guys like this. Huh? Or am I wrong? So, and this is happening all over the world, by the way. Controlled opposition protests have been happening not just throughout the 50 U.S. states, but on 3 continents worldwide, from London to Seoul to Melbourne. Why? Why would the people of Europe, Asia, and Australia give a shit about an alleged murder of a black man that they would feel compelled to actually take to the streets and protest over it, given the incident didn't even happen in their countries. Controlled opposition. And people, it would be a tremendous help. I don't ask anyone for money, right? And by the way, anytime I have needed money, my subscribers have stepped forward and helped me out. And man, I really appreciate that. I do. I don't ask for money, but I do need you to thumbs up and share this shit. Please. And this one I'm going to cover here, it's brought up there. The shallow deep state goes deeper as it moves toward martial law. And this is from offguardian.org. The author, whoever that may be, they said they're not trying to be cute and play with words. That title is meant to convey what it says. So let me explain. The people who own the United States and their allies around the world have a plan. It is so simple that it is extremely devious. Their plan has been in operation for many years. It has most people bamboozled because it is Janus-faced by design. Overt one day, covert the next. But both faces operate under one controlling head. Some call this head the deep state. Even the deep state calls itself the deep state in a devil fake. It is meant to make people schizoid, which it has. Make no mistake about it, Donald Trump, every motherfucker in his little cabinet there, are all deep state actors. Or am I wrong? I mean, I haven't been wrong about a whole lot since I started doing these fucking videos. I told you way back, I think in December, that a lot of this stuff would be going on this summer. And here we are, beginning of summer, and shit has hit the fan. I thought it would happen in 2019. I did, but, timing is a bitch. Even when you're doing music, it's a bitch. The deep state has been given many names over the year. I will not bore you with them, except to say that it was once called the power elite. The upper classes, the super wealthy who control the financial institutions, Wall Street, the intelligence agencies, corporate media, the internet, the military. Let's not forget Big Pharma in there. And the politicians. They are multinational. It's kind of like those Jews that have, dual citizenship. Which, by the way, at risk of sounding anti-Semitic, which I'm not, I'm not anti-Semitic or anti-black or anti-Chinese or anti-anything but government. At risk of sounding that way, though, allow me to point out that it is those types of people at the top of the financial institutions, at the top of Wall Street, at the top of intelligence agencies, the corporate media, and perhaps the internet. And let's not forget politicians. I mean, after all, it looked like Donald Trump converted to Judaism, didn't it? They are the wealthy nihilists who care not one jot for the rest of the world. They operate in secret, yet also run above-ground organizations such as the World Bank, the World Health Organization, the U.S. Agency for International Development, and so on. Their bloodstream runs on war, the preparations for war, and economic exploitation of the world. Not all wealthy people are party to this shit, but they are almost always complicit in profiting from their crimes, unless they are very stupid, or play stupid. Since I am talking about a great confidence game, that is quite common. Other people, all other classes, the poor, middle, even a portion of the upper middle class, mean nothing to the power elite. Unless, of course, they have some use for them. You think those businesses are coming back? You think your jobs are coming back? Do you believe the unemployment report? They're always waging class warfare to maintain their domination and control. The recent version of this class war is underway in the United States and in so many other countries. As of today, they are using race fears to create chaos and outrage to disguise their class warfare that is leading to the implosion or imposition of martial law. Soon, they will shift back to the coronavirus fraud. Back and forth, in and out, in and out. That's them fucking you in the ass with sand. In the United States alone, 40 to 45 million people have applied for unemployment. Job loss is the greatest since the Great Depression. And the reason, a massive propaganda campaign created around COVID-19 fear porn. This class is not new, or class warfare is not new, but is conducted today at warp speed, since these people control the technology that has allowed them vastly increased power. And the only reason this is because we refuse to group up, organize, and create our own fucking supply chains. It can be done. I just need some help. So, in the U.S., it is conducted as usual under the guise of Republicans versus Democrats. The two represent political factions, and they are not real. Again, main body, right wing, left wing. My computer's under constant attack, by the way. I mean, I'm not bullshitting. This happens, multiple times a day. I wonder why that is. But, right wing, left wing, body. And the whole political thing is nothing but theater. Just like WWF wrestling. And the ruling class gave you this message in the candidate of Donald Trump. Remember, he was on WWE or F or whatever the fuck it was. Remember, he was a reality TV host. Remember, he owes billions of dollars to Jewish bankers. Remember. Okay. Let me restart this one here. In the U.S., it is conducted as usual under the guise of Republicans versus Democrats. The two representative political factions that are the faces of the controlled opposition, who are actually allies in the larger confidence game. Keeping hope alive is central to their strategy. Mind control is what they do. Speed is their greatest ally. Race is central to their game plan. They always say they are protecting us. It's all a lie, a show, a spectacle for the stupid. There's that one. Remember, they have created this out of the American man, but we need to be more like that. We have to be willing to stand up front. We have to be willing to put our lives on the line. We have to be willing to give up everything. We have to be willing to fight. Remember, be more like him. Not him. Not him. Okay? MSN finally admits U.S. cops kill, injure, and cage more people than any other country on earth. And there's a lot of people on the right that would say, oh, that's good. It's not good. It's not good. If nobody is a victim, if no one was injured or lost property or, stuff like that, there's no fucking crime. It took 2 solid weeks of protests, millions of Americans shouting in the streets, riots, looting, and multiple tragic deaths for the establishment media to finally admit that the United States has the most violent and deadly law enforcement system on the planet. Land of the free, right? We live in a constitutional republic, but that fucking constitution is trampled upon, used as toilet paper every single day of the week by not only the politicians, but their enforcement branch or branches. How about that? Though they are extremely late in the game, the fact that CNN, whose reporting has been questionable at best, is admitting this fact, and is a telling sign of just how bad things have become. They do a background check for everything. I mean everything now. You want a job? Background check. You want to rent a place? Background check. And if they don't like what they see, hey, guess what? They can fuck you. They can tell you no. They can deny you that place to live. All because you disobeyed a fucking politician. Just saying. Alright, and this is apparently the headline from CNN. American police shoot, kill, and imprison more people than other developed countries. Here's the data. This is the title of the CNN piece, unlike any other we've seen before. And it's accurate. How about that? The article brings up numbers from 2016 and compares them to other countries. The United States is magnitudes deadlier than other countries to which it is compared. Magnitudes deadlier. A media review by the Bureau of Justice Statistics found a total of 1,348 potential arrest-related deaths in the 10 months from June 2015 through March of 2016, an average of 135 deaths per month, or 4 per day. By comparison, only 13 people in the UK died in or following police custody in the closest time period, according to the country's police watchdog. In Australia, 21 deaths occurred in police custody or custody-related operations in 2015-2016. Those measures are the most accurate comparison to the U.S.'s figure of arrest-related deaths according to the UK Home Office. The UK's figure does not include every death that occurred following police contact. Is this a surprise to any of you? And if it is, where the fuck have you been? It is also found that the U.S. law enforcement is far more prone to violence against black people as well. Black people are 4 times more likely to experience police violence when compared to their white counterparts. Perhaps per capita this is true. But the total number, it's 3 times white people being killed by these pigs. So, so why are police in America far deadlier than the rest of the world? As the Free Thought Project has pointed out time and time again, the lack of punishment police receive for brutality and killing seemingly encourages this violent and irresponsible behavior. Remember, if you were to go over to your neighbors and tell them, hey, you owe me money because you have trash in your yard, they would tell you you're fucking insane and tell you to fuck off. And rightfully so. So, as I said a few videos back, to law enforcement, quit your jobs. Leave law enforcement. It may end up saving your life if you're so in fear for your life. That's what you should do. Have one more for you, and this one should concern you just as much as all the others, if my computer cooperates. This is from Beef, beefmagazine.com. Okay? So this isn't a conspiracy theorist publication. It's about beef. Activists working to pinpoint your ranch on an aerial map. Extremists are taking advantage of this crisis and moving in on their target, you. This comes from Amanda Radke. Food security is national security. Let me repeat that. Food security is national security. Alarmingly, there are individuals who are serving as a direct threat to our nation's food security. During this pandemic, as the animal agricultural industry sought to adapt to a bottleneck in processing with limited operations at both our major packers and small butchers, the animal rights extremists are celebrating with glee and using our dismay to gain a greater foothold in society. Ranchers and feeders work daily to take care of cattle, raise the best beef possible, and do it all for little to no compensation. And workers in the U.S. packing plants have literally risked contracting COVID-19 to keep the processors humming and keep grocery store shelves lined with products. Meanwhile, activist groups have also kept busy using our hurt, our struggles, and this pandemic, I prefer, planned it to further their agendas. It's not a conspiracy theory. The proof is in the actions. Once you start connecting the dots, you'll notice that whatever the virtue signaling might be, from environmental sustainability to animal welfare, they are all tied to one thing: destroying the traditional meat production system and disrupting the meat case in favor of something trendy and new, plant-based and lab-created bullshit. And they are beginning to use Google Earth, among other apps, to find these ranches, and they are going to attack these ranches. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and these animal rights organizations have joined forces. So I'm putting it out there for you. So there's that. Again, we all need to be, as men, more like this dude, and much, much, much less like this dude and this dude. Our lives depend on it. I hope everyone has a great day, and until next time, kill the state, live free.